The stream, I don't know, something is wrong, so I'm gonna stop pushing buttons and hope everything works. I think I've got it now, except for my camera's not there, but that's. Oh, my camera is there. It's just way up there. Okay. My camera is there and it's backwards, so we're gonna just quit while we're ahead. I don't know why it's backwards, but it is. So I'm gonna leave it there, and we're gonna start. And I'm gonna try to just not touch shit and hope it works. So, Talon, take it away, sir.
All right. So one of the things I'd like to do as we're beginning each of these sessions, each episode, if you will, is I'd like for either the captain and or the crew members to do a captain's log or personal log just to recap what happened last session. I think it's a good way to mirror the episodes of the classic series, but also give everybody a reminder of where we were. If anybody is interested in doing that, I will grant you a free bonus die to use anytime this session. If you're not interested, you don't have to. But is anybody interested in taking part in a bonus die for this session?
I'm pretty greedy.
So go ahead.
I think I'll give it a shot. Supplemental science log. We have encountered a space-time anomaly, and seem to have encountered members from potentially the past crew of one of the older NX class ships that seems to be caught in the event horizon of this space-time anomaly. Captain, we'd dispatched to the planet and discovered a shuttle pod, an older piece of technology that we're referencing at this point here in the log. We picked up a member from the crew of the NX class ship, allegedly, who claims to be I don't remember the guy's name.
Lieutenant Kieran.
All right. And it's the Starship Atlantis, the NX class, I think, with Atlantis. 50 lives. Atlantis. Yep. Seems to have 50 life forms aboard. And we attempted to pull a slingshot maneuver on the space-time distortion, and failed. End supplemental log.
All right, you've got a bonus die to use any time this session you would like. Would anybody like to do a supplemental log as well?
Nice job, by the way. And Boffin, you're over-modulated big time.
Oh, weird.
My lack of participation in these types of things is solely based on I can't fucking remember anything past 5 minutes. So I will never be able to do that.
Yeah, I typed out a short personal log. I can read it if you want, although Boffer pretty much hit it all.
No, yeah. Go ahead and feel free to, even if it's repeating, that's absolutely fine. It may jar other people's memories just being phrased a different way.
Okay, here's what I wrote. Personal log, Shraz Starhat, Chief of Security. After following a distress beacon to a strange planet, we found a crash site and escape pod from a pre-Federation ship. We found one survivor on the planet who seems to have been there for several years. He attacked the away team, but we subdued him and brought him aboard our ship. A nearby wormhole may be the cause of the unusual happenings here. There is another ship caught in it, a pre-Federation NX-class starship called Atlantis. Atlantis does not respond to our hails. Our attempt at escaping the wormhole has failed, and we now find ourselves stuck alongside the other vessel. Between our new guest and this strange ship from out of time, it is unlikely that security will find any rest this evening. The end.
Excellent.
The end.
Anybody else care to partake?
No, I think they've covered most of it, so I'll do one for the next session.
Fair enough. Okay. So that being the case, you are confronted with a number of issues. You still have the Lieutenant Kearney in sickbay now. He is restrained. You were able to stabilize him. However, he still appears to be suffering from the effects of whatever planet-borne virus infected his system. He's not. His symptoms are not progressing, but he is not completely cured at this point. You also have the much greater issue of dealing with how to escape this wormhole. You don't have much information apart from seeing that the Atlantis is still in the center of the distortion, and you are much closer to it, having been drawn into it. But at this point, your lack of information is a bit debilitating. So you have a number of options before you in terms of trying to glean new information. What do you care to do? Before we go any further, I know there was some discussion regarding whether or not you were going to do something different with your captain assignment. Is that something that we're going to take care of at this point, or
Yeah,
at a
we can
future
do that.
point?
I will let everyone know. Perhaps there was a crew witness to this or not, but I will let everyone know that I received a communique from Starfleet Command, and my duties on the ship will remain effective, but I will no longer be the captain of the vessel. This was due to some transgression that I committed years ago, probably on Twitter, and it has just come to light, and they have no way of, they didn't see fit to put me in the brig or to take me off duty, but I am no longer commissioned to be the captain of this vessel. And I'm imagining, I don't know much about, even though I'm a huge Star Trek fan, I don't know much about the canon. Like, they wouldn't like put it to committee. They would just say the new captain is, right? I'll leave that up to the DM.
We can do it that way. Now, I believe somebody was interested in creating a new captain character. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I created one as a Trill character, so yeah, so I guess it'd be replacing him.
Yep. So you can. How do you want to introduce that character and handle the transition on the bridge in the midst of the current crisis that you're in? Not exactly the most opportune time for a change in leadership, but
No, well, I guess because it's quite an urgent task that they have to do, and they've just received orders. Joran Tier, who's a joined Trill, will just relieve Craig Avalon of command. However, it wouldn't be dismissing him, considering that we still need people on board. So, what station would Craig Avalon go to?
Oh boy, his I would say his skills favor the top of the list and not the bottom. So not sickbay, not science, maybe engineering.
Okay, Mr. Avalon, please take engineering.
All right, I shall do that. Thank you, Captain.
Okay, so status report. Helm, are we still? Is it still? Is the wormhole still pulling us in? Are we able to get out of the wormhole?
it is not pulling you any closer. However, you do not have enough power at the moment to escape it.
Okay. Mr. Avalon, are you able to get some more power from the engines?
I can attempt to do that right now.
And Ra. Science. Can you get scans of the vessel and see if there's anyone that we can transport on board? Perhaps Mr. Kearney had some company on that vessel.
Well, as our scans had reported, it had 50 life signs aboard, and they're unable to answer hails. I would imagine it might be rather difficult to sit there without some type of pattern enhancer, at least on board that thing, to pull any type of live matter bodies off of there. I mean, we could probably beam someone off, but I'm not sure if they would come out in one piece.
And taking a shuttle there's not an answer either. I assume the gravitational forces will affect any navigation.
Captain, I think we might actually be able to use a shuttle, as we're not being pulled towards the event horizon anymore, and neither is the other vessel. Therefore, a shuttle might not either.
Okay. What does your scan say, Science? Are we able to make our way on a shuttle to the ship?
Let's see if I can maybe find a safe course to the event horizon. Gosh, what would that be?
All right. So if you're evaluating the prospects of beaming over versus piloting a shuttle over there, I will say that is a reason and engineering and or reason and science check.
Oh, good thing I got about the same in both.
And that can be assisted by the ship.
My
I
reason
think,
sucks.
let's see, in that case, I'll use the science department.
So
Which,
what I think might be good to do on a go-forward basis, and you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree, but whenever we're doing roles, you'll have the primary actor doing the roles, but just to get more participation, if somebody else wants to roll on behalf of the ship to add it in, it'll just get more people involved on any checks going forward.
That sounds good.
Can we roll from the ship from its page here, or do we have to do it manually?
Give it a try. I had thought it would work, but I know last time we played there was an issue with it. So if you can do it from the ship, great. If you can't, just get the numbers and do it manually.
And it was sensors and science?
For the ship, it will be sensors and science, yes.
All right, and then I can do reason and science or reason and engineering, or
Doesn't seem to me
either
that the
would
ship
work.
is working.
I don't know. It looks like Shelteraz might have thrown that out there.
I did, but I had to enter the target number manually.
Okay. Well, that's good to know then. So you can roll it from the ship, which will calculate the successes. You just have to enter in the target number based on the two attributes that we identify. So that's good to know.
I think we got lucky because it happened to be 11, but
Yeah.
11 was already in there. I cannot change that 11.
Yeah, I can't either, actually.
Okay.
So we can do 11s, but we can't do it. Now, Talon, can you change the TR on the ship?
I'm giving it a shot now. Oops, I just changed the ship. Give me a second.
Okay,
I
so
can.
you can do it, but we players can't, I guess.
Okay, good to know then. So I will set it, and then you can go ahead and roll after I set it.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Let me give myself a note on that.
Yeah, that's probably some trigger that he has to change in the rule set to make that so the players can do it too.
Yep.
I see it's
Perfect.
a TR of 10 right now. So
Yeah, he changed it to 10. Talented.
Yep. All right, so you've got a total of 3 successes, which gives you 1 momentum. In terms of whether or not you can beam over or shuttle over, either appear possible, but because the Unity is currently being drained of so much power from the anomaly, you're going to have to reroute power to the transporter before you attempt to beam over. And that can be done. And if it's successful, it's easier to beam to the Atlantis's transporter bay, but obviously, if you fail, there are potentially some consequences there. That being said, beaming over appears to be a much safer prospect than taking a shuttle through this anomaly, which has wreaked havoc on your Constitution class USS Unity. You can only imagine what it might do to a smaller shuttle. So either appear possible, but beaming over appears to be the safer route.
Okay. Engineering, how's the power going? How much power can you get from the vessel? I think we should just take the chance to transport them over.
Yeah, I can give as much power as I can. I will attempt to do so now by rolling something.
You will be rolling a reason and engineering check, and you will be assisted by the ship with let me look, engines and science. No, I'm sorry, engines and engineering.
Okay.
So is this just to divert the power to
This is
transport
this is
us?
going to be a 2-step process. This is to reroute the power.
Do either inspiration or composure come into play here as a focus?
No, transporters would.
All right. So I will attempt my roll for the power.
And I've updated the Unity so somebody can do the ship.
I've done the ship.
What up?
Great.
Nice.
That is actually 2 momentum. Oops. And the power is rerouted. And you get a little bit more juice than you had expected. And now it's a question of identifying transporter team. Who are you going to beam over?
Shraz is definitely going, for sure.
Question at this stage, do we think it's possibly NX class may go backs? We don't want to sit there and violate the Prime Directive by tainting the timeline.
Not
This
sure.
is true.
What was the question?
Basically, worried about violating the Prime Directive by changing the past.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
They've come into our timeline. Is that right?
Yeah. So these people, 2 points on this. The Atlantis is a Federation ship. It's actually not quite pre-Federation, but the Atlantis is about 100-year-old Federation ship. So it's not another civilization. It is another timeline, but they are now currently in your timeline, and you have no indication that they can go back at this point. So it's a question for debate amongst the crew as to whether or not that would violate the Prime Directive.
I think we should just go, and if we encounter people, we'll just avoid the topic of time. Or if it does come up, we'll just lie. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, they may be aware. Would they be aware that they've changed timelines? Is there enough evidence for them to understand that? So maybe they're already aware that they've moved.
Not based on
into
the prisoner we got.
Yeah, remember, he's still unconscious in your sick bay. You have not done any in-depth questioning of him at this point, but you don't know what the status of the Atlantis crew is, so you don't have any basis to form an opinion as to their knowledge or point of view at this point.
Okay, so I think we still transport over. As Straz suggested, is that we avoid mentioning, but that we're here on a rescue mission. So I guess the priority is to rescue them from that wormhole.
Do we want to change to uniforms from 100 years ago?
That wouldn't be a bad idea, to be honest. I don't remember when the Cadian came into the Federation as a player, so...
Can we replicate them? How long do we have replicators at this
Yeah,
level?
if I recall correctly, I don't believe replicators were an original series era technology.
But they did always
No, but
were
they
able to
they always
produce
had,
yeah
I think
period
it was
costumes.
because they Spock had to wear a stocking cap and all. Remember they had to. they always had uniforms and stuff ready to go, or disguises.
Fair enough. I will allow you to spend 1 momentum to do that.
I think it's a smart idea.
Okay,
Yep.
Sure, let's do that.
If somebody wants to go ahead and drag that into the chat window to do the spend.
I'll do it. There we go. All right, so I think we'll need the Chief of Security, I guess, Science and Engineering. So if everyone is able to go, let's go to the transporter room and head off.
Okay, so as I said, you were able to reroute systems.
Whoa.
And you will need to... I know some of you have some alternative characters, so if you wanted to use them for the landing party, you can. If not, you're fine with using your current officers, and then somebody will need to make the transportation check, which will be control plus engineering for the party member, and the ship will assist with sensors and engineering.
Wait, so real quick, before we go, do we want to try and talk to our guest again to see if we can get any more information? Or should we just go?
Our guest is still unconscious, isn't it? He's been knocked out by the doctor.
Okay.
I would say, not as an engineer, but as a scientist, we probably have a small window on this if we're going to do anything, and have the ship hold.
All right, works for me.
Just something to consider while he's unconscious. That's not necessarily an impediment either in this situation or going forward, where you might be able to use a hypo spray to bring them back.
I still agree that there's, I guess, the urgency of time. We might not have enough time to question him before we. I guess it's important that we transport those people over before the wormhole collapses or anything happens to it.
Agreed.
How about we have the doctor stay behind and interrogate him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring out his Joseph Mengele here.
I know who that is. Okay, I can do the check for the transporter, and someone can back me up. I've got a 14 for this. Well, I got 1 success.
Uh-oh.
Can I provide assistance as the?
Well, somebody can do the ship as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess
I've
I
set
could
that up.
try and do a science thing here and use my quantum mechanics, since we're dealing with a space-time anomaly.
Okay. As a focus.
Yep.
Okay. And remember, don't forget that a lot of you, well, all of you have specific talents that could possibly come into play. And there are different either momentum spends or additions that you can purchase at different times as well. Whether you buy extra dice or use momentum to create opportunities or something else. So currently you have one success and need somebody to weigh in with the ship.
Okay, I'll roll for the ship.
And I've already updated the target.
All right. I guess I'll throw in a reason science
Okay.
as an assist.
Oh no. Oh, nice.
Okay. So you did have at least one success on the main check, so Raha will also be able to lend his assistance. So you attempt to do the transporter. Let me just see where we're at.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Unfortunately, though, this is a difficult task. The gravitational forces are fairly strong here, and because of the time dilation, there is a lot of difficulty here. But you do succeed because the change was to the complication range, not the difficulty level. So you are able to beam aboard. I'm assuming you were going to the transporter pad?
Yes.
Okay. So you beam over to the other ship. As you land, you can see as you materialize a lot of smoke coming from the transporter pad in front of you. It looks like it's overloaded. You quickly look to your left and right, and each of your fellow crew members are still present with you, but you're going to need to repair that to beam back.
Oh no!
But again, you're able to get over without any significant consequence apart from having to repair.
Okay. Mr. Avalon, it looks like that transporter's gone offline. Something must have happened while we were transporting over. Can you have a look at it and see whether we can get it back?
Yeah, I'll get right on that, sir.
So before you do that, let me just describe the scene on the Atlantis. So you're now aboard the Atlantis, and the ship is not in the greatest of repair. You can see that the lights are dimmed. It's just emergency lighting up and down, and even that is flickering. You hear the hull creaking under the strain of the pressures that must be bearing down on the hull from the wormhole. And echoing throughout the corridors, you hear the sounds of energy weapons firing and people shouting.
Sounds like there's an attack on the ship.
Phaser set to stun.
Shraz, can you scout ahead and see whether there's hostiles aboard? Miss Sarara, can you scan with the tricorder whether there's any life forms we can see within this deck that may need our assistance?
Yeah, Shraz draws his phaser and goes up to the door and peeks out into the hallway, looking around and see if there's anything going on right outside the door.
Okay, so you're going to try and stealth your way and get a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a either control or daring plus security check. And this is for you to try to avoid detection.
So one of my focuses is infiltration.
Yep, that'll work.
Nice.
Okay.
So I get 1 success.
Yep. The difficulty level was not high here, so that is a success. As you peer around the corner, you can see down the ship corridors. And the sound of the phaser fire, you can see the source of it. You see an apparent conflict between crew members. You see red-shirted crew members firing at yellow-shirted crew members, and a body being dragged away towards a turbo lift.
Is the person dragging the body by themselves, or are there people shooting giving them cover right nearby?
There are four people dragging the body and laying down suppressive fire against 3 that are firing at. So it's 4 yellow shirts dragging a red shirt towards a turbo lift. Actually, not a turbo lift, an access ladder, and they're being fired upon by 3 red shirts.
Well, obviously we should kill the yellow shirts.
They're all the
That's
same
right.
crew members.
What do you think, Captain?
Um,
Should we try and talk to him, or just stay down, or?
well, they may be under the influence of something, considering that that individual that we found on the planet was also affected by something. So we don't know which side is fighting with whom. So perhaps if we can, is there any way past the corridor to avoid the fight?
They're not focusing on you, and they're moving away. Let me see if I have a map to share for you. Sorry, just give me a second.
I'm a little hesitant to just jump out and say, "Hey, what's going on?" when they're shooting at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for like us getting maybe to their engineering deck and taking over the air system, compromising their system, and putting out dropping out a sedative into the air vents.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So if we can try to sneak past them and find a way to that location.
All right, I'm just going to throw you guys on the map. This is the corridor that you are peering out of. And the suppressive phaser fire went into the middle room that you're there, and you can see the 4 people dragging the red shirt into the access ladder to the north in that third zone. So there's 3 zones here. They're currently in the middle zone with 3 red shirts firing on the 4 yellow shirts heading towards the access ladder.
Do we think we could, trying to get a neuro agent into the air will take a lot of time. Do we think we can just, each one of us stun one of the 3 guys and then just put them down and go from there?
You could. Well, you could try.
That's what I'm asking the group, because we've got 3 shots and a backup shot to get 3 people. 4 of us to get 3 guys, right?
Yes.
Unless wide field stun is a thing. I don't know if that's a thing.
Well, if you get critical successes, you are able to get a wider field, but you can't do that on a by just declaring it at this point.
Okay.
So the options are, we can stun them all. Is the red shirt that they're dragging still alive or awake or conscious?
You could try a scan.
Or can we ascertain his rank?
Yeah.
So first off, scan, and then if you wanted to try the rank, you could do that. The scan will be insight and science, and the attempt to determine his rank will be insight and either command or security.
Okay. So Rara can do the scan, and Lindo, do you want to do the
Sure.
charades?
Right.
Ooh.
Oh.
I see no insignia.
Ooh.
Who does that? Ooh. Who does that? Oh, Merv Griffin. Young guys won't know who I'm talking about. Ooh.
Wow, you really dragged that one out.
That's an oldie.
Yeah.
Goodie. But he always did that. Ooh. No matter what would happen. Ooh.
The sad part is I am old enough to remember that.
Yep, I watched him after school when I was a kid.
I declined to comment.
You know who it is. For those that don't, watching the stream maybe, any of you millennials or Gen Zers or whoever, this was a daytime talk show host that was a less exciting Johnny Carson that was on at like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, they don't know who Johnny Carson is either.
So Johnny Carson, go look that up. It doesn't matter what your age, if you don't know who Johnny Carson is, you need to go look that shit up right now. You don't deserve to live if you don't know who that is.
Pull out, Rob. Pull out. You're going in too deep.
I'm going in. Oh,
It's
look at all these
spiraling.
dudes. Hey, these dudes all look like me, kinda. Let's go make friends.
Oh, crap.
I got the colors wrong. Damn it. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Those 3 are firing on those 4.
And the 4 are
Richards.
dragging a body.
Yes.
Okay.
So are the 4 firing back, or they're just dragging a body?
They're firing at each other.
Oh,
With-
they're so
with
they're dragging.
stormtrooper accuracy.
So not at all is what you're saying. I'm going to see Star Wars after we're done with the game. So The 3 are firing at the 4. The 4 are firing at each other.
No. The 3 are firing at the 4. The 4 are firing at the 3.
Oh, so they are shooting. Okay, and they're also dragging a body. And is the body is the body just not there as a token? We just think they're dragging a body and we don't see it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. I am fully understanding exactly what's happening. I have no suggestions. I just wanted to make sure I knew what was going on.
We're not quite sure whether the others will be hostile towards us, and I guess we're not entirely sure of what the situation is. So I think we try to sneak out and find a ventilation system and maybe subdue more people than.
Totally.
I'm not sure about the fight.
Or find a computer console or something where we can get some information about what's going on.
Yeah, the log. So is there something in this room, or do we need to leave this room in order to get that information?
I'm sorry, you're attempting to do what?
Try to access a computer terminal that we can either access computer logs about what's happened to the ship.
Sure.
Because it's not normal that crewmen would fight each other.
Yep. So you can access the logs. So you'll let that situation play out in the middle corridor and attempt to obtain more information. Obviously, if it escalates, you will be given an opportunity to intervene. But at the moment, it looks like the 3 are trying to prevent the 4 from going through the lift. They may or may not succeed, and you're going to access the ship's computers to try and get more information about what the hell's going on here.
Yep.
Yes.
Are they saying anything in the other room? Can we hear any?
No, they're not saying anything. They're just shooting at each other at this point, and it's clear those 4 are attempting to get a body away from those other 3. The 3 are attempting to stop the 4 from taking it. It's an unconscious body. It is not a dead body, as far as you can tell. You can, at different points, see breathing, but you're not exactly able to tell anything about it.
Okay. Let's try to access the computer terminal and see if there's any logs that gives us information about the situation.
All right. Let's see what we can do.
Okay. So first up, whomever is attempting to, are you going to attempt to access the computer in this room or go back to the transporter bay through the door to your left?
Probably safer to go back, yeah.
Yeah, transporter bay would be the smarter method, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can do a reason and
Computers. Oh.
It'd
This
be,
is on the
or
ship,
maybe
yeah.
science or engineering, I would imagine. Or security,
I'll say
even.
science, engineering, or con. I don't think would apply. Science or engineering is good.
All right, so reason science. And did I mention I have a focus on computers?
You did not, and you can use it.
Nice.
Just make sure you tick the focus box.
Yep. Unlike I did last time. Yep. And I do have a talent of computer expertise,
Which allows you to do what?
I believe it allows me to add a D20. Let me double check. Whenever you attempt a task that involves programming or study a computer system, you may add a bonus D20 to your pool.
Have at it.
Nice.
Half hack will travel.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
3 successes gives you an extra momentum. You are able to access a ship's log that gives you some information here. hold on. If you want to spend some momentum, you can also obtain some additional information.
What do you guys think? Should we?
Yeah,
All right.
I think use the momentum.
We'll take a little extra information, please, sir.
All right. So with the additional momentum, you are able to pull up the ship's layout. So you have this. And you uncover a few ship's log that give you some background on what was going on here. The Atlantis had seen, and I'm paraphrasing some of the information you get from the logs. The Atlantis is captained by Reinhard Suarez. Let me put this in the chat window.
Right. Oh, okay.
And the Atlantis had seen quite a bit of combat during the Earth-Romulan War. And in fact, the ship had lost quite a bit of crew members, and the crew members had lost quite a bit of family members as a result of this violent conflict. And it engendered a lot of hatred for the Romulans. You can see a lot of the personal logs deal with quite a bit of racial hatred for the Romulans. 2 years ago, and this is relative, 2 years ago from the point of entry of this log, given that this ship is over 100 years old, it's all relative. 2 years ago, though, there was an issue where while they were coming to the aid of Earth Colony 3, the Atlantis drove off 2 birds of prey. They destroyed one of the vessels and chased the other into an asteroid field before shooting it down in an uncharted star system, the star system you find yourselves in now. Shortly after sending a shuttle pod down to the surface, however, an anomalous wormhole appeared. It generated an enormous amount of fluctuating gravity. Fighting against that gravity sapped the Atlantis of her power and trapped the ship. In addition, you easily pieced all of that together. The crew, there are notations in some of the logs about the crew detecting an alien lifeboat that was also caught by the wormhole. You have not discovered this lifeboat, but this Atlantis ship logs make reference to it. The alien ship was brought into the launch bay. There was an armed security detail that opened the lifeboat, and the creature lunged out and instantly absorbed one of the crewmen. It happened so fast that no one there could even describe what the alien looked like before it took the shape of the shipmate. Horrified, they opened fire, and the alien fled into the bowels of the ship. That's when a hunt for the alien life form began. You see notations throughout some of the ship's log, and you spend several minutes looking through this. There are rumors spreading through the ship like wildfire regarding the crew. There's speculation about whether or not it was some sort of Romulan. No one had ever seen this before. And there is a lot of concern that the enemy is now among them somewhere in the ship. They're all trapped aboard the Atlantis. As far as they know, this alien life form is still on the Atlantis, but nobody can get off because of the failing systems, and everybody is unable to trust one another because apparently this alien life form was able to take possession of one of the crew members. Finally, there are logs referring to a fight between a first officer, Caitlin Mallory, and I'll write that as well.
I took a guess. I was wrong. It was a C. Damn it.
and a chief engineer, Darlene Phillips, and you can write that one. The crew broke up into factions between the two of them. And unfortunately, Captain Suarez was killed in the conflict. Many blamed Mallory, believing she saw an opportunity to take command by killing the captain. And following the captain's death, Mallory's first official act was to launch an inquisition that only drove a further wedge between the two factions on the ship. So there are two factions on the ship, those following First Officer Caitlin Mallory and those following Chief Engineer Darlene Phillips.
So that explains the red shirts and yellow shirts fighting each other.
And you can hear the sounds of the battle die down as you are checking the information in the logs.
Can I just say that the part where this ship has chased down and shot down 2 Romulan warbirds makes Shiraz's heart swell with pride. He's so happy that they were able to do that. But he's deeply concerned about this alien that can possess the crew members.
Talon, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is this game continuing after the one-shot we played with the Parasite?
No.
Do we know anything?
No, this is original series. That one was...
That's right.
So that would be 100 years later than our timeline, roughly.
Okay, so we don't know anything about No Parasite yet. Okay.
Correct. And this is different. This was some sort of humanoid-ish entity from the descriptions taking possession of the crew member, as opposed to something that was burrowing into its cortex.
Okay.
Right, and at this stage, if I remember, Romulans have not been seen until the encounter the Enterprise had with that one warbird that took the one-way trip. Yep.
It's my favorite episode.
That is a great episode.
So if our technology is technically better than theirs, is there a way that we can identify that with our more advanced tricorders?
Yeah, the problem you have at the moment is you don't have enough data to set your tricorders to search for it. All you have are log descriptions of what happened, but no real data about what the entity is.
Yeah, and we would at best be able to, I think, pull off eliminate human heartbeats and any known alien species, and then look for like differences between the two, so to speak. Kind of like when they the episode where they where the guy was hiding on the ship faking his own death, and they were trying Kirk over it.
Oh yeah, and they court martial,
and they went through right. They were in the process of court martialing, and then they basically emptied off the ship, and then eliminated people's heartbeats from the detection, and then they found one.
Well, if we need more information, maybe the alien ship has information on it. Does it indicate that it may be in the cargo bay or shuttle bay or whatever I guess, where they would hold the ship?
You can go to any area of the ship that you care to. The issue is you're going to have patrolling factions around. Which brings up a good question. When you guys pulled the historical uniforms, what departments were you appearing in?
I was wondering that too. We're probably mixed, right? Like whatever.
Yeah.
I would say
we'll probably picked our native departments.
Yeah, exactly. The native departments is what we would probably have done.
Because that would be pretty logical for the time. For, it's like, all right, I can at least fake being a scientist 100 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're the only one that is neutral by the sounds of it, considering that it's the the yellows and the reds that are fighting each other.
Can
Well,
we?
command and
It's so
security
racist.
would be, if we're going by the coloring,
Yellows
right?
and the reds.
It was actually command and engineering.
The blues are fine. They're neutral.
Well, what are your thoughts? Shall we try to talk with those?
Can we use the computers to try and get a hold of this Malloy or Chief Phillips? Probably Malloy. And see if we can get information from people in charge.
Yeah, maybe we can try to communicate with them from this terminal.
The other hitch is they may not inherently trust us at all because the situation they had, and we're not going to show up on the crew manifest.
Can we actually try to find out what happened to the sciences, considering that there's two factions that seem to be warring? What's happened to all the sciences, the doctors and scientists? Are they still aboard the ship?
They didn't have those back then.
Oh, they didn't? Oh, they didn't. Okay.
I don't know.
There's no indication that they've taken a side in the conflict between the two. But you don't know where they are currently on the ship. You might be able to hazard a guess as to where they would essentially be. But at this point, you don't have any indication of where they are.
Ooh, something from the logs. Does it indicate any damage to their communication equipment? I.e., were they just not listening for communications because they're too involved fighting, or was it really interference?
No, there's very real damage to the ship. Most of non-essential systems are offline to conserve power for engines and life support.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get the transporter back in operation, or is that still?
We haven't made that check yet.
Haven't tried to do it yet.
I guess we still want an exit.
If
Go
we
ahead.
look at the layout here, if we can get the life support and drop our package of night juice in there.
Yeah, I think that might still be the best option.
Okay, well, maybe we try to go to the life support systems room. It looks like there's debris in the way. Is that right? We've got the transport room here.
Yep, but if we take a look, we've got a vertical access ladder. And possibly, we know how Jeffrey tubes run. Or an engineer might.
Yeah. I would probably have, as a hobby, studied schematics of old ships, right? So.
All right. Well, let's try to make our way to the life support systems and see whether we can knock some people out with some gas or.
At the worst case scenario, we really could just sit there and turn off the life support.
And beam out.
Do not recommend it at all, just because hypoxia is a bad thing.
Do we think we can clear that debris that's in the hallway? Or are we going to have to try to beam over there?
At the moment, you're not able to beam anywhere. So you can try doing the fix to the transporter, or you can make your way over there and see if there's how extensive the debris is.
How about you try and fix the transporter, and I'll make my way to the debris pile and see what I can find there.
Okay.
I'll provide you with cover. I'll go with you.
And I will go ahead and help out our erstwhile engineer.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're going
Alright.
to try and...
Yeah, let's do the transporter fix attempt.
Okay. So in the transporter room, let me just find where we are in this. Okay, so you can go ahead and give that a shot with a. It'll definitely be engineering, and you can tell me what attribute you want to use.
I would say control.
Okay, I can go along with that.
All right, and I don't think I have a focus that helps here in this case, so I will roll that.
Ooh.
That is successful, so you're able to spend some time. It takes quite a bit of time, but you are able to get the transporters back online.
Excellent.
All right. And what should I do for my assist on them, or
You can
do
see,
we want to?
you can go ahead and give that a try and see if that would generate any momentum.
All right.
Okay, so you'll
Nice.
get one momentum. All right. Now, as I said, that took quite a bit of time. So as that was happening, the other two party members can make their way through the corridor and see what the situation is with the debris.
Yeah, you said the fighting had kind of stopped, right? Or
that particular battle had, but you're moving through. I'm assuming you're going to try and move stealthily to the debris field. So
Yeah.
the two people that are doing that should go ahead and make a daring and security check.
Can I use my infiltration?
Yes.
Okay, daring.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Okay. Since you both rolled complications and missed the target number, the two of you, that's Joran and Shraz.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me throw you in the.
Throw us in the what?
Oh no! And they're opposite colored shirts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that map. I see.
Rob, they do look like you. Crap.
What? Oh no.
The gold shirts.
Okay. As Joran and Shraz turn the corner, you're confronted by three crew members with phasers drawn, and they seeing two crew members that they don't recognize. One of them in a red shirt. They immediately open fire. So I'm going to say that you're both turning corners at the same time, so neither one has advantage. That being the case, what are your? I believe it is daring that will determine who goes first. What's the highest daring for the two of you, Shraz and Joran?
Mine's 10.
Let me just have a look.
Shraz is 10.
Mine is 9. So Yours
Okay,
is-
and the crew members are 8, so you can act first.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot on stun.
Yep.
Okay, so do I need to target or like roll and or drag and drop, or are we just rolling?
Right now it's at range, so it's not drag and drop. You'll just roll it in the on the character sheet. So it'll be
Okay.
the daring and security.
Okay, and I have hand phasers as a focus.
Yep, that works.
Okay.
That is a success.
Okay. So does that stun him?
You have to roll the damage.
Oh, right. Duh.
And again, I don't know that we got to play this last time, but just in case.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
I love
So you've got 4 effects and a total of 4 damage. What are you going to use your effects for? And remember, you've got the conflict reference sheet that you can use and the momentum spend reference sheet for an aid.
I want to do charge. I think I can do extra damage, right?
Or did you want an area effect?
Yeah, can I do that?
Your weapon, I'm sorry, that was Shraz. With the phaser 2, you've got ranged and charged for your effects.
Charge gives
I'm sorry.
you. There's 2 things charge gives you. I can't remember what they are.
I think it's
Charge gives you. The weapon has an adaptable energy supply, allowing its potency to be scaled in different levels. If the character performs a prepare minor action before attacking with this weapon, they may add one of the following weapon damage effects to the attack: area, intense, piercing 2, or vicious 1. Unfortunately, you didn't use the minor action on that, but you would have no way of, frankly, knowing that. So if you want, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll do.
So your options are area, intense, piercing 2, or vicious 1.
I think I'm just gonna do vicious 1 to drop 1.
Okay. So vicious 1 lets you roll the additional damage die.
It gives it gives you 1 damage for each effect, right?
The attack inflicts X additional damage for each effect rolled. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
So that's 8 damage.
Yep. So that is enough to injure one of them. And the 8 damage, how much stress do they have? Sorry, just give me a second. They have 9 stress, so they only take the 1 damage right now from the. I'm sorry, the 1 injury right now from the more than 5 damage. They almost took 2. You almost caused a fatal injury, but the 1 crewman is down.
Okay, and so then I also have a talent called Quick to Action. During the first round of any combat, you and your allies may ignore the normal cost of retaining the initiative. So instead of I'm going to pass the initiative to Captain for free.
Yep.
okay. And what I will do is use my commanding officer direct task in order to direct you to attack the next person
Nice combination.
and assist with my command discipline.
Nice.
Which,
Meanwhile, the other two of you, they're not that far away. You do hear the phaser fire, or at the very least, you had open comms, so you hear that this is going on as well.
Yeah, I would probably immediately run around there to try to help.
Yep.
Rob, open your damn communicator on mic.
Oh yeah, that's right. I should have done. Oh, it's not turned on. Damn it. Try that again. This is an actual Bluetooth phone. It's pretty good. I paid like a lot of money for that. There we go.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right, so Joran, go ahead and make your second attack.
You mean Shraz?
Or Shraz?
I'm sorry, Shiraz.
I'm just gonna assist you.
Yep, Shiraz, go ahead and make your second attack.
Okay, so this time I'm going to prepare for the charge thing. I can do control and security this time.
Is it control and security, or is it daring and security on a ranged attack?
It's usually control, I think.
Control for phases.
Okay, sorry. Yep, control and security. Go ahead.
And what should I do to assist? Is it presence and command?
I believe so. Does the talent say?
It's not a talent. It's one of the actions that I can take as a commanding officer.
As a commanding officer. That'll be in the cheat sheet for the XO.
I think in the combat. Where is it?
Anyway, I get 3 successes at least.
Yep. So that would generate 1 momentum. Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know what that one is.
I'm trying to look for it. I think I can only do it once per mission anyway. So
Is it called assist?
yeah, it's called direct task from what I recall, and basically I just assist someone else, order them to take an action.
Yeah, did you have to make a check on that, or are you just looking to see if you were going to be able to generate momentum?
I think it's just an ability to allow someone else to actually make the roll. And
Okay. Just follow up on it for the next one, just to make sure we didn't screw anything up on that. But that's fine.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and roll your damage then. Jesus. That's going to be enough to take out another one.
Yeah, so I want to use the area effect this time.
Okay.
The attack automatically affects any character or damageable object within reach of the initial target.
Now, within reach, they were close. I don't want. So if they were in reach, they would have had to.
Let me read the whole thing.
Sure.
The attack affects a wider area and can affect several targets at once. The attack automatically affects any character or damageable object within reach, and then one additional target within close.
Got it. He is definitely within close then, so it reaches the other one then.
Yeah.
Does it do the same damage or half damage?
It doesn't say.
I had thought it was half damage, but I could be wrong. The attack affects several targets at once. The attack automatically affects any creatures or and then one additional target within close range of the initial target for each effect rolled, starting with the next closest, as determined by the game master. I guess it isn't half. So okay, you can describe what happens because you take out both of them.
I think instead of just shooting at one guy, I just like swing the beam over, hit both of them like a laser pointer, like all Star Trek combat should be.
Okay.
And
So you're able to,
All Star
you're able to you're able to drop two of them, but two of them are stunned, but one of them, because you essentially did both an injury with the damage and then it was basically 10 damage. One of them is in severe arrest and could die from the wounds.
Okay.
Medic.
Are they still hostile at the moment?
They're all stunned or dying. Two of them are stunned and not a threat. One of them is dying and not a threat.
Okay. We better try to get this. Let's see whether the transporters are back online and maybe transport this what is he, security officer or command officer back onto the Unity to get some help.
Okay, so you're going to send a you're going to reach the group on your communicator and order them to beam them to the Unity?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Who wants to make that transporter check?
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. You can make the transporter check. The other person can do the assist with the ship. We'll just assume for our purposes that it's the same as the Unity, so it'll be the
Engines and
no. We'll say sensors and science.
all right.
And then mine was going to be the same as before, so I'll do that.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you generated a momentum.
I got some momentum going on this game.
You are able to beam him back. All right. So, just for the hell of it, does anybody have an alternate that's a medic?
No.
Okay. We'll deal with that later then. See if he's saved. It's not integral to the story here. Okay. So you make your way to the debris field. Let me see what kind of obstacle that forms for you.
By the way, Captain, transporter pad's working all right now.
It's I guess it's good that we were able to get it back on time so that we can get that crewman onto the Unity.
Maybe we should see about getting some gas. Do we have gas to put into the life support system, or are we just going to see what they have there? Or do we need our ship to beam some over?
Yeah,
Well,
we don't have anything.
I'm assuming this is going to be normal Earth atmosphere, so what we could do is up the nitrogen level and put everyone in laughing.
How do we avoid it?
Contain
We
the
know it's
engine.
coming.
So
Does
you're
that
just
help?
having a party.
Hey, this heroin I injected in my veins. It's okay. I know it's coming. No.
All right, so first up, before we get into that ridiculousness, the debris field is pretty extensive. However, with some time and ingenuity, you might be able to clear your way through. It will take some time, and you don't know if you'll have other security patrols upon you while you're trying to make your way through it.
And if we try to transport past that, there's no way that we can actually get back to where we currently are without getting into the debris field.
Actually,
I'm
you
actually
do.
surprised. This transporter's doing as much as we're hoping it does. Remember, this thing's 100 years older than ours, and there's still people who don't want to use our transporter.
So we shouldn't risk a site-to-site transport? Only from pad to pad?
Do you want to end up with debris in you?
No, I don't.
What she look like?
Well, let's try to clear this debris then.
Yeah.
I guess that's best option at this stage.
We could try transporting the debris at least.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Ooh.
That's a good idea. Yes, let's try that.
Just beam it into space.
I don't know that we need to use that much power, but we could maybe isolate the field enough to sit there and beam a path through.
Perfect.
Or we could,
And if we don't get a full resolution transport, then it's we don't have to worry about someone winding up inside out.
when you transport something, it's all one, it's not individual pieces, right? In other words, do I recall them being able to transport like a pile of stuff and then spread it out and then put it back in the hallway with like one piece every 2 feet or whatever, or is that not a thing?
They transported all the tribbles. Those were lots of little things.
Yeah.
It's true. They transported them onto the Klingon ship where there'll be no Tribble at all.
Right.
Even as a youngster, I was like, oh.
But, if we sit there and transport like, a 2-foot wide path, enough for to traverse by us, then,
Right, that's an equally valid. Yep.
we can turn off safety restrictions so that way it, if that gives us any kind of bonus, so that way we're not worried about, a partial transport of inert matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Of course.
Mind you, this is all just science theory craft.
Right,
it's the engineer's wizardry that makes it happen.
You tell me how it works and I'll make it work. That's going to be how we operate on every level now. This should work. Okay, let's do it.
In theory.
What do we think the
read
better
that about
idea is?
in theory.
Cutting a path or getting rid of all of it?
I guess getting rid of all of it just sounds easier than cutting a path.
Yeah, we could just beam
precise.
Just beam it out into space, because who cares?
Are you sure you don't want me just to try shooting it on kill?
You've been very effective with
Let's
that.
calm down.
Disintegrate would also work on the phasers, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you guys still split apart? Are there two people in the
I wanted to come running out into the hallway to help with the fight, but then I think that all ended.
I got my hand on him and say, wait a second, hold on. Remember, we can watch each other's back while the other one is waiting on this transporter to either blow up. This is 100 years old, damn it. You know the spit and baling wire that had to go into this? You
Yeah.
should. You just had your hands in it.
I am
This
aware.
is like a dirty cat box.
Do you want to try shooting it then, and then we transport if it doesn't?
Yeah,
if it's
let's
not
just
very
try
successful?
disintegrate with the old phaser gun.
Okay, I grab my phaser. I set it to kill or whatever, 10.
10, yeah.
I go out into the hallway. And blast.
Okay. So 3 of you are there. 1 of you still in the transporter room.
Yeah, why don't we all shoot? Actually,
Don't cross the streams. One person should be able to disintegrate that, right? And drain all our power packs. It should just be a simple, like, I mean, it's just crap laying there. It should be done. Like, it should be pretty easy.
Don't they have phase pistols?
Well, but we don't have those. Do we?
Right, but they did.
No.
They were shooting at us.
Let's just try it with the security officer shooting it, and if we need more power, then
what's the difficulty?
There's a lot of debris there. It's not difficult at all to hit it. It's just a question of how much time does it take, given the amount of debris. I mean, it's a massive cave-in of the corridors there, and
Do I need to add
you
more
also
dice?
you have to be cognizant of the structural integrity there as well, because these were corridor walls that were caving in on each other, and are you going to create some structural issues as you're doing that?
can we consult with the engineer as to
You can.
whether?
And the engineer can make a, I'm going to say this is going to be either daring or insight and engineering.
Okay, I will do it.
Okay. You succeed. Look, you're concerned that if you get rid of too much of it, you could create some structural issues, and God forbid the phaser overheats a particular area. But if you do it in controlled bursts, and in very focused bursts, you think you could do so without causing any major structural issues.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do focus control bursts and create a man-sized hole through that debris.
Okay, so I just shoot for like a split second and see what the effects are, and just keep. Oh my god!
All right. So you make a little bit of progress, but again, you're doing it in such fine control bursts that it's a little bit slow. You can go ahead and try again.
Would you like to spend the momentum?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's why I'm saying, would you like to spend the momentum?
Well, my target number is 15. I should be able to knock it out.
Yeah, just unlucky with that one.
Okay. So you make some significantly more progress on that. However, as you are doing that, give me one moment. And by the way, I'm going to spend some threat here to increase
How dare you?
the size of the party that is coming. There's another security patrol coming as you are doing this. So let's just use the current map you're on, and I will bring you 3 on there. Okay, you are all shooting at the debris, and as you do, and again, ignore the uniform colors for purposes of this, there is a group of not 3, not 4, but 7 crew members who turn the corner to attack.
Oh, we should take a break.
Yep. Now, I know as part of your stream, yep, you normally take a break at this point.
Yeah, halfway in, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Now is
do you have the break music?
I don't do break music because YouTube is
No, I was
copyright.
talking to Talon, right before they go to commercial break.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to find it.
Everybody gets my rendition. Sorry.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it will be the combat in the corridor.
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good. 10 minutes.
All right,
Perfect.
sounds good, guys.
All right, everybody. 10-minute break. I'm going to run a commercial here. So for those of you that are not subscribers, perhaps you will see a commercial. If I can ever figure out where the button is, it's always this new dashboard thing. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Daddy, can I schedule a kiss? I remember that. That was like 2 years ago. 3 years ago, maybe. March of 17. All right. What was I doing? Oh, I got to change that slide. That slide. I got to change it. Hey, why isn't the thing going? Oh, it didn't start. Maybe I got to say 9 minutes now. What in the hell? There we go.
Should we metagame? How are we going to handle this?
Don't die is my suggestion.
He didn't say what type of shirts they wear. What departments did he?
I did not.
We don't know. Okay.
I think you should try and talk to him.
Yeah.
They are in fact red shirts.
All of them? All 7 of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I can just prostate my arm. Hey guys, let's all just be friends.
I'm going to grab the engineer and be like, oh, look what we caught.
So, just in that era, it's still the same as TOS era, right? Red shirts are still security, yellow ops.
Security and engineering are red. Yellow is command.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to adjust this. I'm still playing with balance levels, but I think 7 might be a bit much, despite the fact that your security officer is a killing machine. I'm going to drop one of them off at the very least.
Yeah, so, I mean, that area effect seems pretty ridiculous. I mean,
I think you only get one minor action that's free. Any subsequent minor actions require you to use one momentum.
Right.
Okay,
yeah, but being able to hit an additional target.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I roll 5 effects, that means I can hit 5 extra people with an area attack within close range.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Again, I'm sure we're screwing up a lot of the rules at different points, but I believe that is correct. Are we back live, Rob?
Yep, we're good to go.
All right. So that being the case, then it is initiative to the crew. What do you do?
I think we tried diplomacy first in this case. Considering they're all red shirts, I don't know how effective it would be if I try, but I do have the diffuse tension talent, which means I get an additional die to persuade someone not to resort to violence. So I will just try to talk to. Is there one that looks like a leader of the patrol?
I mean, you could generally address the group and see which one steps forward.
Okay. Well, I just go up to them and say, we don't want any conflict. Just want to help people on this ship. If you put your arms down, we can talk more about this situation. And I've also got a value of dialogue is the first phase of conflict, of any conflict. So can I use a determination die for this role?
Yeah, what was it again?
The value is dialogue is the first phase of any conflict.
Yep, I'll let you use that. This is going to be either a presence or insight plus command task.
Can you give us the difficulty?
It is going to be a difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. Presence command, I've got an additional die.
And momentum too.
Yeah, the determination give me 2 successes.
It does.
So I've got 3 dice, and maybe I'll just take another dice, so I get 4 dice to roll in total.
Okay, go ahead and spend the momentum.
And there we go.
You hit your success target.
Cool.
So they lower their phasers and look at you and say, we don't recognize any of you, and we've been on this ship for years now. Who are you?
Well, we're not from this ship, but we've come here to help you. We've found some information from your logs that there's been an alien that's come aboard, and you've split into two factions. We'd like to talk to your leaders to try to help out and find out more about this alien and get you out of this wormhole.
They look distrustful. If you read about the alien, you'll know that we aren't entirely sure that you aren't the alien. And they sort of levy their phasers at you again, looking for some sort of assurance, and perhaps not sure themselves how they want to proceed.
Can I pitch in and say that it is true that one of us could be the alien, but it's not possible that all four of us are, and we're all in agreement here that we all want to talk to your leader. The red shirts, we all want to talk to Caitlin Mallory.
Actually, the head
engines.
of... Well, no, that's true. Caitlin Mallory would be the head. The person here, though, is he is an ensign in charge of this group, actually, and he looks at you and says, "Yeah, your reasoning's pretty sound. If you want to talk to Caitlin, First Officer Caitlin, lower your weapons and come with us."
I lower my weapon.
Yeah,
I'll go a step further. I'll holster my weapon.
Yeah, I holster mine.
I will slap my phaser onto the Velcro on the side of my pants.
Oh, the molecular adhesion patch?
Yeah, that's right. It was not Velcro, right? Because there's no such thing as Velcro.
Did we get more successes than needed? So
no, it was actually a target number of 4, and you got 4, so you just succeeded.
I just thought the determination was an automatic.
Oh,
crit,
it is. It is.
Yeah.
You're right. And that's not factored into the roll there. So that would have been an additional 2.
Yep.
Oops, one too many. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Take us to Mallory. Like to find out more about how we can aid your ship.
Okay. So Ensign Mendola takes you over to the... Where are they now? Takes you to engineering, ironically enough, where you can see the first officer speaking to 2 other engineers, and she looks up from her data pad as Ensign Mendola comes in, and he responds to her. First Officer Mallory, these 4, and he's struggling for a word before he says intruders, and he looks sort of nervous as he's addressing her. Before these intruders came on board patrolling the ship, and they said they want to speak to you. And she looks pretty agitated at Mendola and sees that you still have your weapons. And she sort of warily addresses you and says, "What are you doing on my ship?"
I'm sorry. I thought you were stuck partially in an event horizon. It looks like you're starting to shake apart. Your polarized ship plating is buckling in places, and your corridors are falling apart.
And you have a way out of here?
Well, that is what we're hoping to do. We'd like to work with you to offer that up. Sorry to be a little presumptuous there, Captain, but it seemed mincing words at this stage would not convey the point fast enough in the limited amount of time that we have in this space-time anomaly.
That's fine, Rara. As he said, it's we don't have much time and we need to help you, but it seems like you've got your own problems here. You're looking for an alien, and some of your crewmen here suspected that we were aliens. We were that alien. Can you tell us more of what you've uncovered about that?
And actually, I misspoke. You're not speaking to the first officer. This is the engineering faction, so you're speaking to the chief engineer.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
I keep getting the red and yellows mixed.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the condition of the ship and the hull plating. It just seemed a logical thing to bring up with an engineer.
All right. So, what was the question to the chief engineer?
Just whether they know more about the alien. Because I assume they're trying to look for the alien.
Yeah, we are, of course, but I don't believe that the alien is responsible for the captain's death. I think that the first officer wanted the position and killed Suarez to take command in a coup. I think she just used the alien as a convenient backdrop to do so. Not that the alien isn't hostile, but I don't think the alien killed the captain.
We'd managed to get down to the planet and took in Lieutenant.
Carney.
Yep. He'd
Carney's
taken one of
still
your shuttle
alive?
pods. Yes.
That was over 6 years ago. How did he survive on that planet for so long?
You've been here 6 years?
We have.
So has the wormhole been stable for that long?
No,
Have
it continues to escalate. And as time goes on, it escalates more rapidly. We don't anticipate having much longer before the ship's plating pulls apart and it caves in on itself.
So you suspect Commander Mallory of staging a coup. Why would she want to do that if you're stuck here?
The coup started before we were trapped within the wormhole. I believe that she's been working on it for years. And again, this was just her opportunity to seize power and use the alien as a backdrop. Now, we have to deal with conflict on two fronts. We have to restore order to our command structure and kill the alien invader.
Who is the high... Go ahead.
I would think Starfleet protocol would dictate that the preservation of crew life comes before the extermination of the alien life. Wouldn't you agree?
In fact, I would not. I will do anything to keep any hostile alien invader from taking over any Starfleet resources or personnel. Even if half the crew must be sacrificed in the process, then so be it. This is a war.
I told you, freaking engineers, man.
So have you learnt anything else about the alien since you're so hell-bent on trying to kill it? It's been 6 years. You haven't identified the alien yet that's amongst your crew. Is there any information that you can share with us?
and you can see that she looks. She's very. She doesn't like answering the question because the answer is not to her satisfaction and obviously won't be to yours, and she's uncomfortable discussing it. But she says it's a shapeshifter, and given the conflict internally and the fact that we can't even identify what this creature is, we've been unable to pinpoint whether it's still on here, whether it's still just the one. Perhaps there are more. I can't even tell you if it's an alien life form or some sort of Romulan technology.
Oh boy.
Is there a third faction within the ship? We've noticed that there's the command and operations. Are the sciences still aboard the ship?
Science is still aboard the ship. We, in fact, with all of the systems being down, the only resource we have is the ability to allocate reserve power. So we've been exchanging that with the science faction for fresh vegetables and hydroponics to keep alive. So as an aside, there's been this whole wartime economy that's developed where they're exchanging various resources between the factions.
Okay. Well, perhaps we should go approach the leaders of these other factions and get more information from them. Well, so your ideal scenario here would be to destroy the alien and take ownership of the ship again without Mallory in command.
With the
Is that
rightful
right?
command structure in place, absolutely.
Who is the highest ranked officer on this ship that you do trust? You?
I would leave that to the crew to decide, but yes.
Because you're the only one who knows for sure. Because you know that you're the only one for sure who's not the alien.
That's true, although my best guess is Chief Science Officer Takanashi is probably safe as well.
Hmm.
And perhaps his Chief Medical Officer, Martinez.
Would you guys be amenable to abandon ship?
If we can get safe passage off of this vessel, yes, we've been unable to escape for 6 years. And again, if you have a solution, I would love to hear it, but it looks like you're in the same position as us.
Yes and no. I believe we have more resources to work with, but it's we would also definitely insist upon quarantining you all, and I'm sure you would understand why at this stage.
Yes, but I question your underlying premise. Why is it that another ship such as ours would have more resources? Surely you have the same resources that we have.
Starfleet Special Branch.
We're on
We have
a
a
mission from
prototype. Yeah, we have a prototype.
We're on
ship.
an experimental ship.
We all start mumbling shit at the same time. Special Branch.
We're on
section.
We're on an NX type of ship that's was responding to what was found to be when we saw the anomaly. We're exploring the anomaly, and we saw your ship in distress.
Go ahead and make a.
We received the distress signal from the shuttle pod that was on the planet. That's why we got involved, if I remember right.
Go ahead and make a daring or insight check and command.
Anybody can.
Whoever was leading the discussion there can go ahead and make the check.
Oh, okay. That wasn't me.
Yeah, that would be me, and I'm not the best at command.
I can. I have. Hold on a second. Are these talents?
I do have an ability or a talent that may help with this, and that's disarming nature.
I agree. That would help.
Yeah.
Does that give you another die?
What that does is reduce the difficulty of any test to make your target trust or relaxed with you by 1.
Okay. So you just need 1 success here.
All right, but it doesn't look like my.
We've
There
got
we go.
momentum if you wanna spend that.
I've got to follow my lead, which it says. Oh, I can't share that. Once per scene, when you succeed in a task or combat, or another perilous situation, you may spend 1 determination. If you do, choose a single ally. The next task the ally attempts counts as having assistance from you using your presence and command.
Okay.
All right, that's cool. So I let's see. I do also have a value that I have, which is sentient beings are because this is my whole naivety. Sentient beings are generally amenable to.
Kitties.
Sentient beings are generally have good intentions. That sounds pretty naive, right?
What are you
Yes.
looking to spend here?
I don't know what I don't remember
That's your
what values
value.
do.
Sentient beings. Okay. Are generally amenable.
If you use a value, you can spend your determination to get extra
Okay.
dice.
I won't worry about that then. Won't worry about the value then. But I
Okay.
do have a focus of edit and cultural studies.
Nope.
All right. All right. So we'll go for this 2 dice. So you guys don't mind if I spend a momentum, do you?
No,
Nope.
go for it.
Are you using Rob's stats?
Oh, what are Rob's stats?
14.
14 total. Okay,
Yeah.
so if it'll let me adjust it.
You can just roll the 3 dice manually, and we can figure out the dice that
But
are under.
you can punch in your TR, right, or just change it to 14.
You can't, but what you could do is just use the 2 that total 14. So use control and engineering and roll it.
And if you hold control, you can mouse your TR. You can change it.
Oh, son
There
of a
we go.
gun.
That's a famous
All right,
ground
so that
state.
would have worked. So would that have worked on the ship too for you?
I tried that and no, it does not work.
Gotcha.
Well, I got 2 successes.
That is successful. I forgot why I'm making you make that check.
I was trying to get her to be a bit more trusting of us with my charming purrs of yes, it would be good. We have our ship is we're on a experimental vessel that caught
okay, great.
the distress signal. Don't worry, you can trust us.
Nice.
Trust. You say that like Dracula, do you? Is that going to inspire some trust? Can trust us.
So she does go along with that, and she doesn't push the issue any further regarding why you think your ship is more capable than hers. And part of that was a little bit of engineering pride, but she goes along with the story for the moment.
We noticed in the logs that there was an alien ship that was brought on board. Is it still aboard the Atlantis?
That is a good question. Let me check.
Also, just thinking ahead, are we going to be comfortable beaming this whole crew aboard our ship, knowing that one of them is in shape?
Quarantine.
Remember when I said Yeah.
We're gonna keep them all in a nice, comfortable briefing room with force fields or something, and let the aliens go nuts, and then we'll take them out.
Or just stun them all on arrival.
Yeah, maybe the doctor can scan them and determine who's an alien. That might be something.
The transporter buffer should be able to figure it out.
Oh, that too, right? There's a certain amount of information that our characters would know that the players don't know, so that might be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we still need to find a way for us to find out.
Yes, actually, the vessel is still in the launch bay, but the launch bay has suffered some decompression, and the doors have buckled from the gravitational forces. You might be able to access it, but you'll need EV suits to enter the area.
Okay, so ideas. Where should we go now? I think it's worthwhile speaking to the other faction leaders. Is there any other ideas of what else we should do?
I would say let's go to sciences next, since they're neutral, and that way that would give us a point of contact to get in touch with the command.
Yes,
and the launch bay is an option to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the launch bay, that's going to require you to spend some momentum for EV suits.
I think we should try to get all three factions in the same room together, and you take charge, Captain.
Talk it out. Okay. Well, I think we've decided to go to the sciences. So I'll ask the chief engineer. Can you direct or communicate to the science officer Takahashi? What was the chief science officer's name?
Chief Science Officer Takahashi.
Takahashi. Can you contact them for us and make an introduction? We'd like to meet with them to talk about this situation and hopefully put us in touch with Commander Mallory so we can progress with our discussions and negotiations.
I can reach out to Takahashi, but we are not in any communication with Mallory.
That's fine. We're happy to talk to Takahashi first. Are they located on this deck or another deck of the ship?
You can usually find them in the in either sick bay or the hydroponics bay. Usually the hydroponics bay on the E deck.
Okay. Let's head off to the hydroponics bay and see if we can get in touch with Takahashi.
All right, so I'm assuming you're going to try and make stealth checks.
Yes.
Yeah,
patrols.
certainly.
Yep. So either control or daring and security, each one of you will need to make it. If you roll a complication, then you will be set upon by a patrol.
What's the difficulty? Is it 1?
It's a difficulty 2,
2.
but you can succeed at a cost.
Okay.
Control and security, you say?
Yeah.
Either control or daring and security.
I'm going to use a momentum to get another die.
I think you need to say that before you roll.
Yeah. And Shiraz, when you rolled, you actually generated success.
Oh, did I roll already? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
And I will go ahead and spend a momentum since we're at 6, which is our cap. And give myself another die. Oh, and 3 successes, just barely.
Okay, and we need one more. Looks like Avalon.
Okay.
Rob, we need
Yep.
you to do a
Which one?
control or daring and security.
That's
Okay.
how I do it.
Cool.
All right, so you guys are able to make your way to hydroponics without incident. As you arrive, Takahashi has been made aware that you would be approaching. He got a little bit of the background from the chief engineer, and he's waiting in the Bay Area with a contingent of science officers around him, greeting you and asking you what he can do for you.
Well, we've come here to help you on the ship, but it appears like there's further complications considering that there's apparently an alien aboard and there's multiple factions. We understand that the command and the operations are warring against each other, whereas you're the neutral faction. We're hoping to get more information about the alien, and perhaps if you could put us through to Commander Mallory of the command faction so we can speak to her.
I don't know that Mallory will hear from you. As it is, I'm largely preoccupied with my testing to try and identify the alien imposter.
How
is
far
that
have you gotten with
progressing?
that?
Unfortunately, not very far. I've been doing routine blood tests and tissue samples on the members of my faction and cross-referencing them. And unless every member of the science department is an alien, I've not identified any differences in the live tissue samples.
Do you have any reason to suspect that there is more than one alien? Like, is it possible that your entire science crew are aliens?
I don't have any reason to believe that there are more. The alien was able to board our vessel through his, and he was the only life sign aboard when we beamed him up aboard into the shuttle base. So I don't think that there are others. Some people are worried about that. I just don't see it. I see no evidence supporting that hypothesis.
Okay.
Do we know who was taken over by this alien? And what's happened to them?
Before you do that, go ahead and make an insight and science check.
Is this
So
everyone?
he's beaming. He's very excited about his progress in testing based on his tissue samples and blood work for the alien, and he's pretty convinced that he's close to identifying the
Spending a momentum for a die.
creature. Go ahead.
Oh.
I got one success. What was the difficulty?
It would have been 2. So
We can use momentum to get rid of the complication if you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give myself some threat for that.
Okay.
Well, I was giving myself threat. You could, if you were going to use the momentum, that works as well. Or you can keep the momentum, and I'll just give myself.
All right.
All right.
We'll just get rid of that complication.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. The story regarding the testing makes sense to you. You don't see why that wouldn't work.
Um,
And avoid the urge to metagame, given the way I explained that.
Oh no, I was thinking, that's marvelous. Maybe you should test us. It'd give you a larger sample size.
He's more than willing to run the test if you're willing to volunteer for the experiment.
What does
Totally.
the test involve, and how long does it take?
It's a quick test. It's a straight blood draw and a tissue sample.
Okay.
Nothing invasive. Just a scrape of the
So prick
fingernail.
the swab.
Yep.
Sure. If it's going to help us clear, make people believe that we aren't the alien, then
This is gonna be some The Thing shit happening right here. You guys remember the movie The Thing, where they're
Absolutely.
testing to see who the thing is? Holy shit!
I watched a Deep Space Nine episode just the other day where they were doing the same thing, trying to find a changeling.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what this is. So he runs the tests on each of you that volunteer for it. Do you all volunteer for it?
I volunteer.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
While we're doing this, I want to bring up our original idea again of gassing the whole ship. That way, this guy can go around and take samples from everybody.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
Are you telling him this, or are you discussing it with us?
I'm discussing it with you guys to see if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah, because if you say it to him, he might go, no, that's not a good idea. And then we'll know.
I think it's an option, but we'll need to acquire it from them and perhaps persuade them to give us a
Nerve gas?
sample. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be in the system?
What are you going to do with this nerve gas?
That would be some sort of ship security measure thing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it already be in there? Just have to access it.
I'm not sure.
The
Possibly.
security measure to flood the ship.
Flood the ship with gas.
Yeah.
I tell you, we just increase the nitrogen content. It makes nitrous oxide. We sit there. Everyone goes in the laughing gas. We can tell it not to hit the life support room. Isolate that out, and
So keep in mind
gases.
though, this is a 100-year-old ship, so it may not have the same defense mechanisms, and in fact doesn't have the same defense mechanisms that your ship does.
Well, maybe if we can get enough people in a room and have enough of a sample to knock a whole room out, that may do it. Rather than the whole ship.
Well, okay. Our whole purpose of being here is to try to figure out a way to escape the wormhole, right?
Yes.
That's the ultimate goal.
Well, you have two goals.
Rescue the ship.
Right.
And rescue the ship.
And rescue the ship while...
Or at least the crew.
And do all of that while making sure that you are cognizant of your directives, including the Prime Directive, seeking out new life and new civilizations, and exploring spatial anomalies and unexplained phenomena.
Well,
Okay.
this alien is unexplained, so I guess getting some information on it will help.
Everybody, go ahead and make a insight and security or command check.
Also, this alien might have information about how to get out of this wormhole.
Yeah.
So 6 successes.
Okay, so you all, as the chief science officer is speaking to you, you all see that the chief medical officer sitting nearby, and he seems to be he seems to be signaling you while Takanashi is conducting the tests on you.
Every one of us, all 4 of us.
You all notice him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're done here, Takahashi, maybe we could speak to your chief medical officer. Maybe we can find out more from him.
Of course, I've got more testing to do on the samples you've provided as well, so I can go about doing that while you meet Alejandro.
It's understandable. We can see, what resources we can try and marshal from our ship, and like how best to accommodate you guys. See what medical issues may be going on that we need to be prepared for.
Very good. Takanashi excuses himself and introduces you to the chief medical officer before he leaves. And Martinez is a slightly built man. His eyes seem very heavy and weary. Everybody here looks like they've been through the ringer, but Martinez especially just looks a mess. But he introduces himself to you and watches as Takanashi leaves and asks, what can I do for you?
Well, we noticed you called us over. I assume there's something you wanted to tell us about, perhaps about this alien that we keep hearing about.
He nervously looks around and he sort of leans for you're sitting at a table at this point, and he sort of leans forward and in hushed whispers says, I don't believe there ever was an alien intruder. And he sort of nervously darts around as he's speaking to you, and he says, an alien intruder can't explain away everything that's been done on this ship in the last 6 years, and he looks like he's sick with himself as he's describing it. The only explanation I can think of is that the Romulans developed some sort of weapon that's trapped us in this blasted wormhole, and we're getting bombarded with electromagnetic waves, and I think it's causing heightened paranoia and violent tendencies across every human mind on this ship.
Have you had your blood tested?
I have, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Do you have any evidence of this in terms of any
this.
studies that
Trust and verify.
that people are affected? Yeah.
What's your question to him?
Do you have any evidence? Because I guess from our experience, Lieutenant Carney was affected in the same way down on the planet, but we assumed that was because of the planet itself. But he's suggesting that
He had a virus.
I had a virus.
Oh, you're right. We should bring samples of that over here and see if they're the same.
We should get a sample from some of them
From the doctor.
and test.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll mention to the medical officer on the ship here about the, your Lieutenant Carney had a had a virus when we picked him up off the planet that drove him to bits of fits of violence.
So before you get to that point, when you asked if he had any evidence, he slides a data pad over to you. He clearly misunderstood your question. And when he passes the data pad to you, there's a video that's playing. And in the video, you can see it's obviously of the cameras on the various decks on the bridge. And on it, you can see that there are various sections of the ship where doors have been sealed and oxygen was removed from different deck levels, and crew members suffocating and dying in mass amounts. So large amounts of crew members were killed, and he looks at you as the video plays.
If a single crew member
orders was this under?
And he nervously looks around, and before he can answer, the Takanashi comes in and says, I've got the results of the tests, and good news, there's clearly no evidence of any alien infestation between any of the four of you.
Well, we expected as much, but thank you for confirming that. We were wondering whether you had any samples that we could examine, something that we can take back to our ship. Perhaps our resources there may be able to help you.
What resources do you have that we don't have on this ship?
We're on an experimental ship that
et cetera, et
happens
cetera.
to catch
The whole
press
thing.
signal.
I love it.
From your launch shuttle pod that made it down to the planet.
Go ahead and make your check. I think, what did we say for the last one? Was it?
We
This
did
is
this with something involving Avalon. So it came out to are we doing that again?
I think it was either control and daring and command, or presence. Presence and command, I think, would be a good one.
I think presence and command, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Are you going to do your same ability, Rob?
Yeah.
All right. So that came out to a 14 last
Right.
time.
It was a 14.
All right. And I'm going to spend a momentum to get an extra die. And now, are talents only one use, or they like apply when they apply?
You can
They
use them
apply when
multiple
they
times. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we'll be disarming naturing again.
Okay. Okay. He accepts your explanation and doesn't probe any further. He's mildly insulted that you think you can detect something that he hasn't been able to identify in 6 years, but he's willing to accept the additional research. So he gives you the samples.
We have 6 years newer equipment. At least.
We just got this thing last week.
So we got the sample.
They say a poor craftsman blames their tools, but sometimes it's not a matter of the quality of your tools. Sometimes you can get a finer resolution when they can sit there and scan at just that slight nanometer more. You know how it is, right?
He nods knowingly.
Is this the data pad with the video still showing? Can Takahashi see that, or is that pretty much hidden?
No,
From
he was able to quickly grab the pad back when he came back into the room.
Okay. Well, we'd like to talk with Ensign Martinez a bit more about this. You mentioned before that you might be able to put us in touch with Mallory.
You're on your own with Mallory. We've been trying to remain neutral between command and security and engineering, but Mallory is a host onto her own.
Do you know where they're located? Assume perhaps the bridge.
Seems you're muted there.
Oh, sorry about that. The first officer is located usually she's usually around the, where is she? Usually on deck B, either in the secondary laboratories or the computer core, sometimes in the gym and recreational facilities. The wide open space, I guess she thinks, is easier to defend.
Okay. Well, we might not make our way there, but we'd definitely like to talk with Ensign Martinez a bit more.
That's who we're talking to, isn't it?
No,
No.
Takanashi came back into the
Oh,
room, but he's fine with that, and he says, I'll leave you to it then. If you need me, you'll know where to find me. I'll still be conducting my tests. No rest for the wicked. And he walks out.
Of course not. By the way, could you put something up in the log about us being clean, so that way we can let at least Mallory know that we've passed your test.
I will, of course. It will be date stamped because there's no accounting for whether or not this creature can move to different host bodies. But as of now, you are clear.
That is A-okay. That's at least something we can try and use to help resolve this peacefully and prevent any further misunderstandings, and hopefully get some aid over here to you. Hopefully we can preserve your ship. If nothing else, we intend to at least preserve the crew.
Okay.
He nods.
It'll be sad to see this fine lady go if it comes to that.
Agreed, but that's the engineers are more concerned with the ship than the people on the ship. I get that, but good to know.
no, we just talked
Have
to
you
Chief.
guys prepped the data to save and offload?
What was that?
Have you guys prepped any of your scientific data for offload?
I mean, of course, everything can be, but we have no off-site network to store it to. It's being stuck in this wormhole. So, if we were ever to get to a point where we could, we obviously would.
Well, make sure the packages are prepared, and we'll see what we can do about it.
He nods.
Good research is just so hard to come by, right?
Of course. You all feel that your arm is a little sore from the testing that had been done.
Okay.
Great.
So Ensign Martinez, you mentioned that you think that there's no alien on board. But there was an alien ship that's in the launch bay. Is that correct?
There is. But
So
I
you
don't
think
think the alien is responsible for everything that has happened on this ship. There's no way the crew would have been driven to the lengths that they've been driven to if it wasn't for some outside influence.
So who was responsible for killing all those crewmen? I don't think we could see from the video. Did anyone find out?
The only one it could have been would have been, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure I get the name, would have been the only one with access to the systems to do that would have been Chief Engineer Phillips.
Yeah, she is definitely crazy.
Well, we have spoken to her. I think it's still worthwhile to talk to Mallory to find out whether she shares the same view. Do you have any? He looks to the rest of the crew. Do you have any questions for Ensign Martinez?
Well, I think we should ask the same thing of the science group. You know, are you guys amenable to being kept in quarantine just so we can figure out what's going on? If we can get you on, you know, when we get you onto our ship.
Martinez is absolutely open to the idea of a medical quarantine to see if you can isolate whatever it is that is affecting the minds of the humans on the ship.
To my own
Any
group here.
alien crew having any of the in this, or are you? Do you guys have any alien crew or non-human crew?
We do not.
Can we bring up the possibility of beaming over a blood sample from Lieutenant Kearney to see how that compares to the other people on the ship? Would that be a good idea?
You're talking to us.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if he'd come from this ship, I assume the virus that he'd taken was from the Atlantis. I'm not sure what other information that they can uncover from the blood sample. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I think we didn't we take water samples last time from the planet, and we decided that the virus came from that.
Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
But we also don't know where the alien ship came from.
The alien could be from the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. So you're proposing that we share the water sample or the blood sample with
Probably both,
Ensign Martin?
just to see if the virus that Kearney has is also what's on the ship, because everyone's acting crazy here, including the guy on the planet. So they might be affected by the same thing.
There's no reason.
While you're debating this, I'm assuming you were doing it off away from Martinez, but Martinez still looks agitated, and he tells you, "Look, it's not just engineering. The tests that Takahashi has been doing, they're just not right. They're not ethical. He's been doing tests on live crew members, and I've heard the screams at night. It's not right," and he keeps shaking his head.
Mm-hmm. Captain, I would recommend that you ask Takahashi not about this directly yet, but make sure that he's amenable to like full quarantine upon arrival on our ship.
Yeah, I'm concerned about transporting anyone else aboard our ship at this stage, until we either find out what the virus is or whether it is the alien. Perhaps the best thing is to keep them on this ship, and potentially us as well. We might be infected. We don't know.
I want to do something real quick. Right after Martinez tells us about what Takanashi's doing, I want to leave him, and I want to go to some other medical officer that we haven't talked to yet. And I want to ask that person if they've heard screams in the middle of the night and if they're uncomfortable with Takahashi's experiments. and testing. You understand? Because I want to get a second point of view.
You want to corroborate his story?
Yes.
Okay. How much time are you going to spend doing that?
A few minutes.
Okay. You're able to, obviously there's a lot of medical staff and science officers here. You ask around, and after a period of time, after say 15 minutes, nobody really corroborates the story at this point.
I go back to the captain and report my findings.
Seems like everyone's going nuts on this ship in one way or another. There's an alien ship or potentially a virus at play. Perhaps we talk to the command staff and see what their perspective is before we make any other decisions as to how to approach this problem.
Well, there's a couple of things I want to point out real quick. Chief Phillips in engineering just said that she was willing to kill half the crew to save the other half, which is completely crazy and unacceptable. And this Ensign Martinez is lying. Nobody can corroborate his story. So
now,
everyone
to be clear,
here is...
to be clear, I said you didn't find anybody to corroborate in your 15 minutes of interviews. That could be three things. There's three possible explanations for that. Either there's nobody to corroborate it because it didn't happen, or you didn't spend enough time and or weren't successful, or he's the only one that knows about the testing.
It sounds like there's lots of finger pointing at the moment.
Yes.
I think we try to find another perspective into this and then see whether we can do independent investigations of what we find and make our decisions from there. But there's definitely something going on this ship, whether that's an alien or a virus.
So Malroy then?
Yeah. Let's go try to find Mallory in the computer core or labs.
Good.
Okay, let me go through this real quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything.
The other option is just go back to our ship, use our superior phaser technology to just mass stun the whole ship and beam them over and disarm them.
I'm not totally opposed to that, except it doesn't help us get out of here. I mean, we can get the whole crew over to our ship, but we're still going to be stuck here.
The trick is, I think it may be sending them back to where sending them back home may not be a possibility.
Oh God, I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, it may not be possible at all.
Yeah, their ship may not survive going into that, so
I think
with the decks already falling apart like they have.
Yeah. That's like the least of our concerns, I think. I think we need to get out of this wormhole and save the crew if possible. But I think we also need to check out the alien craft. That might have some good information for us.
Yeah.
Although, if the alien could leave, they probably would have already, right? Unless they don't want to.
It's
If
been
there's an
taking over
alien.
people's bodies, yeah.
Yeah, if there's an alien.
Because any one of these people may be the alien that we were talking to. Despite the test that says that we're clear, or that they're clear.
Okay. So, he tells you that if you're looking for Mallory, generally roams the ship, but is usually available on Deck B, in the areas that I mentioned, either the secondary laboratories, astronavigation. On Deck C, she might be in the additional science labs, the gym, or the recreational facilities. You might find her in any of those. But he cautions you. She's known for tossing any suspected aliens into the nearest airlock. In fact, she has standing orders that if anybody is known to be left alone for any length of time, meaning they're not paired with another shipmate, then that individual is sentenced to death in the airlock. So he's very concerned that you not split up and travel alone when you go to see her, if you're going to go see her.
Has she carried out that order? Has she thrown people out the airlock?
He nods.
Okay. Well, maybe we find the alien ship first rather than going to Mallory. What are your thoughts? Or we can put on yellow shirts and pretend to be all command staff.
What if we went on the PA and said, "Hey, we're 4 people from another ship, and we want to meet you. Meet us in the secondary science labs," or something like that.
Yeah.
That way we don't just like surprise her.
To announce our arrival. That makes sense. That sounds like a good idea. Let's try that. Let's try to get access to comms and put over the PA and over Deck B.
All right.
Make
To
that
do
announcement.
that, you probably need to gain access to the command center, which is located on Deck D.
What deck are we on at the moment?
You're in the science faction area, so I believe you went to. Did you go to hydroponics?
Hydroponics, yes.
Yeah, you're on Deck E.
Okay. That makes sense to go to Deck D then. Let's try to find the command center and try to get access to the comms.
Announce our presence. Might be
Yeah.
good for the whole ship to know now.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. We'll do that.
Okay, I'm assuming you're going to try to go stealthily again.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead and make your checks. Any complications will result in being set upon by a patrol.
Was that control, command, or security? Is that what we're doing?
It was, I believe, control or daring and security.
Hey.
Hey.
Heyo, the one.
Winning. Oh, sorry. Jeez.
There we go.
Geez.
Very nice.
All right, wait a minute. Okay, Joran, that was the complication range. No complications. Got it. All right, and then we need Craig again.
Oh, this one's everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, feel free to spend a momentum if you feel you need it.
What is the two things again?
Command or daring and... I'm sorry, control or daring and security.
Oh, and security. Okay. It's a... well, yeah, I'll spend one.
Yeah.
And that's add... I haven't done that this game. That's add to dice pool, right?
Yep. So that'll
Yes.
give you another D20.
Right.
Oh!
Damn it.
Okay, so let's go back to a corridor.
Oh, Rob.
It's always me.
Damn you.
It's still buckets
This
of
is why you
success.
should. This is why you should have stayed as a captain.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even
yeah.
so, I mean, there's nothing preventing me from rolling these high dice. I think I'm playing D&D, that's why.
Let me just delete these from the tracker. I'm going to go ahead and spend some momentum to increase the size.
Yeah, that's what happens when we bring these engineering guys along. Meatheads.
Stupid engineers.
Stupid dudes with their duct tape.
Right? And their bungee cord and whatever else doesn't ever get used. Giant tool belt full of stuff that you never... Oh, man, that was cool. Just like bowling pins.
Oh, jeez.
All right, you guys get to go first. Decide amongst yourselves and go ahead.
I think the security officer is probably the most effective at the start.
I can try, and I can also retain the initiative. So
Are they attacking us? And sorry, maybe we should try to talk to them first.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. They haven't attacked, have they? They're just walking down the corridor.
They have their weapons drawn. They have not attacked yet.
Okay. And
You
they're all
can
command.
use your first task to try and negotiate with them. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to negotiate with them to take us to Mallory.
Yeah, you could go for that
Wh-
protocol because you need to see the commanding officer since you're part of the rescue party.
Yeah, and I'm wearing a yellow shirt, so
Uh-huh.
I say represent a ship that's here to help. I want to see the commanding officer or whoever's the next line in command, and I demand to speak to them.
Okay. Presence or insight and command.
Would my talent being in diffusing tension work here?
It will.
Okay, so that's 3 dice together.
This is a difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. Oh, okay.
Spend it.
So that's another die. I might use 2 dice, so that's 4 momentum in total. And
Just 3
Wouldn't
momentum, right?
Is it?
Because
Okay.
it's 1 for the first one and 2 for the second
And
one.
2. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. All right,
yeah,
I'll
so
give
it's
you one back.
3. And is my negotiation focus?
It is.
Can that apply here?
Yes.
Okay, let's give it a go.
All right, you succeed with 1 over the target.
Cool.
They again lower their weapons and hear you out. What do you have to say?
We're here to help you. I understand there's a situation aboard the Atlantis, different factions, and I'd like to speak to your, or we'd like to speak to your leader, Mallory, to speak to the command faction and find out more information about what's going on here.
Take me to your leader.
Take you, yes, in short.
All right. They look at you, see the uniforms, and they're willing to take you to Mallory to let her decide. This time, though, they require that you give them your weapons.
Okay. Well, if we're going into a hazardous situation here, how can we be guaranteed that no harm will become of our crew if we give you our weapons?
He looks at you and says, well, if you're truly Starfleet, then you would know how we conduct negotiations.
I'm prepared to stand down for now until we meet Mallory and we can...
You know what? I will. I'll step forward and hand over my phaser and say, "Well, we are Starfleet."
I do the same thing, but I also want to point out that I have my Usham blade under my sleeve.
Okay.
So you're always equipped. Okay. Well, if my crew prepared, I'll give you the weapon. I'll stand right next to the Andorian.
Okay. That will work. They will take you to Mallory, and that actually is a good time to end today's session.
Oh, so we are going to Mallory. Okay.
Yes. Anytime there's a music cue, I get all excited.
All right. Next session we'll deal with your introduction to the command faction, and the introduction to Mallory, and see what happens from there. There are a lot of threads that are open right now regarding what's going on here. It's still unclear, but there's a lot of shit going down here.
Yeah, so much.
All right, very cool. I appreciate it, guys. We are on for next week. Anybody have any
26th.
issues with it being? Yeah. Anybody have any issues with it being the day after Christmas?
I don't know.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Single,
good.
lonely, childless man. What do you need?
Very
All
cool.
right, guys. Talent, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Good
Thanks,
job,
guys.
everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, so there we go, everybody. We have completed another episode, the first episode actually, of Star Trek RPG, Star Trek Adventures RPG, I should say. I need to try to figure out how to close these. Oh, when I close this, it's gonna take my camera away, but that's okay because the friggin' camera thing wasn't working. Oh well, I got it on slides. I'm nuts, everybody. I'm out of my mind. I'm too excited. It's 120 minutes until Star Wars, so I'm gonna wait 90 minutes and then I'm gonna leave my house. But I am gonna go see Star Wars, so I'm pretty excited. Let me give everybody the end of stream rewards here. Add points. There you go. I still give the points even though during Star Trek you can't you can't do stream points. But I give them out anyway. Let's see, what else am I gonna do? Oh, I know I can also give you guys the command, the thing, you know what I'm talking about. You guys all know. Everybody that watches knows exactly what I'm about to do. This thing right here. Nope. Ah, that's so stupid. All right, well, anyway, I hit the wrong button, but there it is. You guys can come to the Discord channel. You can go to the Patreon page and check the items that we have for support on the Patreon page. We have levels for as little as $1. Let's see, what else? Oh, you can cheer bits or subscribe or donate. Actually, during this show, we had nobody do any of that. Nobody subbed, nobody cheered any bits, and nobody donated. And therefore, because nobody did that, which is fine, it's not a mandatory thing. Looking for experienced Fantasy Grounds users to volunteer to help. Yeah, that was a tweet. Because nobody did that, Lady Shell retains her bit boss position at 10,500. It's going to take a while for somebody to take her down. Let's see. You can also check the DM's Guild for items that we have for sale. Don't forget about the Insanity Bundle. The Insanity Bundle will be December 24th and 25th only. There's a forum entry on the as a matter of fact, don't I have a let's see, Insanity. Did I put a thing in here for that? I didn't. I should do that. Anyway, on December 24th and 25th, you'll be able to buy every single item. 166 items at current count. There might be one or two more squeezed in by the 24th. It's not insane. I could have swore I put something in there. Let me check that. Let me check it, Celestian. I could have swore I did it, but I probably didn't. FGHI, I didn't. I'll do that. But anyway, on the 24th and 25th, all Rob Tui items, whether they're mine alone or collaborations or whatever they are, will be. Hey, the DM's Guild has a showcase for somebody reviewed the conditions and effects, and it shows. Anyway, I'm so excited. So yeah, all 166 or 7 or 8 items, 75% off, and it gives you credit for what you already bought. So let's say you own 100 of them already, you'll get the other 66 at 75% off. It's a crazy deal. It's insane. It's hence the Insanity Bundle. So go to Twitter or go to Facebook or go to the Fantasy Grounds forums or go to my Discord and get that link. And then it's not going to work now, but bookmark it and be ready. That's how you do it. All right, what else? Today's sales on the DM's Guild. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The Blood War, scroll down. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And the day has ended, so it is 28. Because the day just ended 3 minutes ago. All right. You guys can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, or go to the Facebook page where you see stuff sometimes. Let's see. What am I going to say about upcoming shows? So tomorrow is Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Saturday is nothing. We don't have a game on Saturday because we're skipping a couple weeks. Sunday is the Eggnog and Cocoa show. I call it hot chocolate. I don't know where you're from. You might call it cocoa, but cocoa was easier on the slide. Hot chocolate was too long, so I call it cocoa, but I say hot chocolate. So Leyrun and Furied and I, we're all going to be on camera, actually, drinking eggnog and cocoa. I'm going to have my Santa hat on. And during that show on Sunday, I will be giving away, 2 days before it even comes out, I will be giving away exactly 1 copy of the Insanity Bundle. So you want to be at Sunday's show because somebody's going to win all that shit. Boom. That's how you do it. And they're even going to get it on Sunday. And 2 days before you can even get it, you're going to get it. That's only going to, and I'm not going to go crazy and give away 2 like I always do, or 3. It's just going to be 1. So be there and get it. And then Module Creation Monday, and then the Acquisition and Corporations, we finished that, so that's on Sunday. And then this game, next week on Thursday, we got this game, and then that's how you do it. So hopefully we'll see you all back here tomorrow for Dungeon of the Mad Mage. If you are watching this on YouTube, join us live. And also hit that sub button and ring the notification bell and do all the YouTube stuff you're supposed to do, the kids do these days. All right, Star Wars. Good gaming, everyone.